Hey, it's Martina here from Rafa Therapy Service. Just want to share with you some thoughts around resilience, emotional resilience, because you've probably heard this term, being battered around quite a lot, especially because we're actually in the middle of a global pandemic and there is so much uncertainty. And the reason why resilience is a term or concept that's used quite often is because resilience it's a protective factor against stress, against anxiety and depression. And all the research shows that if people are more resilient, they're more able to bounce back and successfully and skillfully navigate through adverse and difficult times. So it is important to try and foster a resilient mindset, to try and align your behaviour with that of a resilient person, because that will help you to get through some of these difficult times. And as a resilient expert, what I want to do is just share with you some definitions and a bit of a few pages from my book on resilience in the workplace, which is just here. So emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back emotionally, adapt, recover, and grow during or after a difficult and stressful time, such as a trauma, bereavement, or loss, and I'll add in a pandemic. Emotional resilience includes bouncing back and recovering with competent functioning and not being noticeably scarred from your difficult and arduous encounter. So that's from Rutter 2018. Also, emotional resilience is having the capacity to emotionally recover successfully from adversity, including stressful situations and crises. This can be evident if someone has become depressed following losing a loved one, which, is understandable, or maybe developed anxiety following a setback. However, with times, we'd expect that these experiences would subside and they'd return to their kind of normal functioning in terms of how they were coping before the crisis. So emotional resilience can also be viewed as it's the aptitude to adapt to difficult circumstances that you can't change, which is what we're facing at the moment. There can be a lot of hopelessness and helplessness that we're all experiencing. It's also thriving in the midst of uncertainty, such as living with a long-term health condition. In fact, when you're resilient, you can often learn from difficult situations rather than retreating and stagnating. Emotional resilience is the process of continual development of personal competence while navigating and negotiating with available resources in the face of adversity. Emotional resilience is also the successful adaptation to life tasks in the face of social disadvantage or highly adverse conditions. All the research suggests that emotional resilience is highly correlated with productivity and performance in the workplace. So for the managers out there, if your employees are maybe struggling, it's likely that some of them are more resilient than others. So it's important to kind of take that into consideration and think about what you can do to boost their emotional resilience, and think about how your employees, how they can learn from one another as well, because that's important in emotional resilience as well. And different organisations can facilitate employees and business owners in developing emotional resilience. And there's lots of different strategies that can be used, such as developing a resilient mindset. So rather than focusing on threats, focus on opportunities, developing an optimistic mindset, becoming more emotionally self-aware, which will help with emotional intelligence. If you're more emotionally self-aware, you're more able to effectively self-regulate your emotional experiences and manage stress. There's also quite a lot of research that suggests that having a strong support network, social network, that can help to build your emotional resilience as well. Mindfulness is also helpful, and also developing a growth mindset that will help to foster emotional resilience. And finally, developing an external locus of control. That helps to develop emotional resilience, because individuals believe that they're in control of the outcome of situations rather than believing that they don't have control, and that can create a sense of hopelessness. So I just wanted to share just a few thoughts with you around emotional resilience and some ways that you can build that. I hope you found it helpful. If you've got any questions, any queries, feel free to get in contact. It's Martina from Rapid Therapy Service, but it's info@rapidtherapyservices.com. And I hope you try and enjoy the rest of your day.